Hey, everybody out there, you're tuned into 91.8 The Fan. I am your lovely host, DJ Christmas, and I have with me my very special guest. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hey guys, I'm Leraldo Anzaldua.
All right. And it just makes me happy to know that I've been getting it right this whole time.
It's difficult, but it sounds exactly like it's spelled.
Exactly. And now we were talking a little bit behind the scenes about, in my opinion, one of your biggest shows, Kiba. Could you tell us a little bit more about how you got started in that whole thing?
Yeah, Kiba. It was really a fun series. Let me start by saying that. And Stephen Foster, the director, was pretty awesome to work with. Let's see. I'd worked with some other titles in the past, but not as big and stuff. I think maybe my biggest stuff so far to date was like Gatchaman maybe, which was a really great series to start with as a lead character, and then on to like Comic Party and random roles like that. But he felt that I had sounded relatively young with a little bit of an edge, and we had a round of auditions and stuff between myself and some really good people, but we just kind of vibed. We really clicked really well, and it was a fun time in the booth, which was really what was important. And we just started talking about Kiba, and then it just kind of went from there. It was loads of fun.
Yeah, and aside from just you, that show had a really great cast and a lot of involvement, and it's really sad that that's the last thing that AD Vision got to do before they inevitably shut down.
Yeah, it was really disappointing when, the word started getting out that, just because the whole recession thing and money and everything that's going on in the world, as we all know, just started snipping away and taking away at stuff like entertainment, at stuff like anime and stuff like distribution and stuff like that. It was a really difficult blow, for the area and, just for the market. It kind of really sucked. So, but it was good to hold on to something like this. And then, after that, we were able to move on to other pretty good titles. But yeah, man, Kiba was a long-running series, and it was really fun to watch it online. And, it's always hard to kind of look on what's going on. Like listening to myself, and I'm like, could have done that better. It sounded better or whatever. But with Kiba, it was just loads of fun the whole time. So, really great characters and really good cast, easy to work with. All the stuff that they lay down in the booth, it's just, if it's there, it's just really easy to bounce off of most of the people. So, it was pretty easy. It was a seamless job.
Definitely, and it really does show in the production quality afterwards.
It was interesting to watch as the series progressed that from the original stuff, the original animation, you could kind of see, near the end of the series that maybe originally they had lost some kind of funding and stuff, because the animation begins to turn, it begins to change a little bit from the crisp lines from the beginning few episodes, and eventually near the end, it kind of, just shifts a little bit. It looks like they switched kind of animation styles later to mid-series, which was really interesting to see. But it didn't really do anything to the story. I think it held up pretty well, so that was pretty good.
Definitely, and after ADV closed its doors, you have moved on now to Sentai Filmworks, I believe.
Correct. Yeah, man, I'm still, doing a few titles with them, and they continue to call me back, so, pretty lucky.
Yeah, you've got that really good voice for a lot of characters that are coming out, especially recently with High School of the Dead and Angel Beats and all the other great stuff that Sentai's been picking up.
Yeah, it's totally funny because, I have, this is my voice, and this is what it's always been, and talking to Steven, one time, I think during high school, and we were also laying down some Golgo 13 and some Gween and, those other titles that I didn't get to play as big of characters. But he started asking me, just kind of messing around in the booth, to throw different voice qualities to different characters, just like random hitman or some kind of weird villain guy in one of the Golgos. And I just started busting out all these funny different voices, and he's like, wow, I never knew that you were able to do that. I'm like, well, I'm a voice actor, that's kind of what we do. So since then, since kind of the middle of high school and stuff, I've been able to play a little bit wackier characters and not just the, young guy, sometimes hero, sometimes bad guy, or just sometimes supporting character. Being able to play quirkier stuff, and that's been a blast. So.
Definitely. And with all these newfound voices that you do, which would you say is the easiest to relate back to?
Oh, well, all the funny voices aside, let's see, I forgot the guy's name in Golgo. That was certainly the funniest. Like, so much that the ADR guys, the sound recording guys were, they would put it up on big screen and we're just laughing really hard. I forgot the character's name, but he's an older gentleman in a wheelchair. I think it's episode 13 or 14 maybe in the series. And it's just a weird, quirky character. So, I don't remember his name, but he was hilarious to play with. But since then, going back to standard hero, young voice, certainly Takashi of High School has been the most favorite title I've worked on since Kiba. Just because it's a great story. We've been going along these epic adventures, kind of fantasy things, and then all of a sudden the turn to this whole, The Walking Dead zombie title was really, really fun. It was a really visceral story, and it was really great to kind of, for lack of a better, term, sink your teeth into. I was really, really glad that title came up.
Definitely. And other than your newer stuff, which would you say was your favorite earlier thing to work on? Gatchaman, your breakout role?
Totally, man. Gatchaman was the best. Charlie Campbell, the director on it, he just took a chance, man. We had this big round of auditions, and he didn't know me at all. He just kind of threw me into the mix for the lead guy. And, I was up against auditioning around some really great names like Zero and Patton and, all the people that kind of you'd heard about already and been pretty well established in the anime community as character players. And but something about Charlie, got in the booth, and we didn't even start talking about Gatchaman at all. We just started talking about different movies and sci-fi and just kind of geeking out with each other just about things, just music and whatever. And we eventually got around to the audition. But once that happened, it was like, this is a great partnership, match, friendship, whatever. And it was really easy to roll into. It had kind of a clunky start for me because it had been my first kind of big role. And that was a big series. It's 105 episodes maybe. And I think right around episode 10, I felt like I had a pretty good handle on Ken, Gatchaman, G1. But it was really easy to transpose because when I was younger, I watched the, Battle of the Planets, I think, G-Force.
Right.
The old series back in the 80s. So I watched that coming home from school. So it was really easy to just roll into what Ken was doing. And I think since it was the biggest role at that time to date for me, it kind of always sticks in, my emotions and memory and heart and stuff because it was a really good team.
And would you say it's easier to work on longer series like Kiba and Gatchaman or shorter ones like High School and Comic Party?
Well, it kind of depends on the story, because I would have loved to keep going with Comic Party in High School because it was really fun, High School was so meaty, it's so, visceral, so dangerous of a title, it was really, really pretty thick content. And Comic Party was fun, but I think that maybe was good where it was. It ended on a really good note. It seemed a bit unresolved, so I didn't know if they were going to bring back another one. So that was pretty fun. But High School, certainly, I would have enjoyed to extend. It's interesting because it has to be a quicker arc for a character. If it's smaller, like a smaller series, like a 10 to 12 episode series, because things happen so quickly. I don't feel like I have enough time to really get to know my character. It's just coming in, producing the lines, how they have to be, figuring out the story as we go along, and then after that, it's, really quickly it's over. And, I don't know if I if I had time to like really spend with the characters, as opposed to something like Kiba, which was long, which I had a really good time with. So it depends. It depends on the content of the story. So yeah.
Definitely. And I believe on that note, we're going to cut to a quick commercial break, but make sure that you keep it tuned because we'll still be here when you get back to 91.8 The Fan. Everything you want, nothing you don't.
Do you know what's on 918 The Fan? A bunch of our crap.
Good heavens.
You know what's not on 918 The Fan? A bunch of your crap.
Balderdash, I say.
Want your crap on 918 The Fan?
Quite so, good fellow.
Then send your crap titled Fan Friday Submissions to kibs@918thefan.com, and we might just post it up for all the world to see.
What do you have to lose?
Nothing.
Nothing, I say.
Quite so.
Quite right.
Yes, jolly good.
Cheerio.
Pip, I say.
Ah, yes, good sir.
Hey, everybody out there, you're tuned in to 91.8 The Fan. I'm still here, and I still have my very special guest. Would you like to give us a sign of life?
Hey guys, what up? This is Leraldo Anzaldua.
All right. And we were talking a little bit behind the scenes. We talked about some of your older stuff before, but I was wondering if you could tell us a little more in detail about your two latest things, High School and Angel Beats. I don't know how much you've gotten to work on Angel Beats.
Yeah, I have a couple characters that I've kind of, it's funny because unwittingly, I got a couple characters out of that particular series. I started laying down some track for one particular character, a smaller kind of supportive character, and then we kind of forgot because my schedule was so that I couldn't come back quickly enough to keep on going. So then when I came back, just because things were so hectic and busy, we started recording another character. And so we kind of got mixed up with the two. And then, and when the sound guys finally realized it, it's like, oh, well, it's too late now. We've kind of laid down some track for both of these characters. So go back and we'll clean some up and change the voice a little bit and then go on to this, bigger character that we kind of started a little bit later in the game. So it was really interesting. It's like, what do we do? Oh, well, let's just roll with it. And, it was really fun. Angel Beats it's a really wacky series, man. It's really, really manga-y. And what I mean by that is, as opposed to serious like High School, it has all the emoticons and all the emotive, character-ish drawings that you see in all the traditional manga stuff. It was really fun to work on. But sometimes, not being as familiar with straight, book manga stuff, I didn't really know what a lot of the different symbols meant, like floating above people's heads or, as their faces change from kind of straight animation to really cartoony stuff. And I didn't know how to match it as much with my voice until it was kind of explained to me or kind of gathered it or inferred it from the content. And, it was really fun to kind of decipher and figure out and throw into what was going on. So, yeah, I thought that was really cool. New experience.
A little bit of a vocal workout.
Totally, man. Totally, because, I wanted to be true to what they were saying, so I kind of kept trying to throw stuff out there. And then, like, a series like High School, where we had been doing stuff like Kana and Queen and, kind of not necessarily lighter, but easier animation, and not as thick and dense a story as High School. So when High School came out there, it was like, all right, I have to really think about what I'm doing and what I'm saying and how I'm saying it, because this is now more of a serious story and, taking itself a bit more seriously and really getting to, some pretty cool human connections. So I kind of really had to shift gears from the two different animation styles and really, really kind of put some more work into it. And it's a really fun challenge. And I would leave High School from the booth, a couple hours, a couple at a time, sessions. I would be there pretty emotionally drained, because stuff had to throw out there that was pretty intense. And for that, it was a really great, great challenge. And I really enjoyed working on High School. And, who doesn't love zombies, shooting stuff and chopping their heads off.
That's true. That is one of the big things right now is all the zombie stuff.
totally. And it's just, such great content, and it really is more about the human aspect as opposed to, the challenge of those actual things walking around. Those other series that are out there, like Kirkman's Walking Dead, and that really great European UK series, what is it called? Dead Set. I don't know if you guys have, look it up. I think, well, sure, Dead Set, that's what it's called. Really great human interaction. It's a really fun content. So, yeah, being along along those groups of series, it's great to be a part of. It's fun.
That's one of the great things about working in a series like that. It's not just the typical going through the motions. You actually get to look at the philosophical aspect of it, too.
Yeah, man. And, being playing alongside Jessica Boone, was so easy. I hadn't worked alongside her as kind of a partner character, a counterpart to her, I think in any series, really. We had been in similar or other series together, but her character was directly in contact with mine. And I just, I knew she had some good stuff out there, but during this series, she made it really easy to bounce off of. And, all her stuff that she laid down was just gold. It was fantastic. And the whole team just made it seamless.
Definitely. It seems like ADV and now Sentai has that really close-knit group where it's easy to play off each other.
Yeah, and much to their credit, different actors have come and gone, but the stuff that the people that they keep around, we know how to just get in there and work, and kind of like volleyball, set something up for somebody else really well, and it's been really fortunate. It's a really good team, and Stephen Foster is a great director, and he knows how to pull it out. And if, lines have to change or whatever, to kind of help things along, he's always really good about, say what you think you need to if something isn't coming across, and I think with all that freedom, already having a good team, it makes for a really good story, pretty good product. And I've been really proud of the last few things that have been coming out there.
Definitely. And now, do you ever get the chance to hit up the convention circuit?
Only briefly. I've only done a few conventions, actually. One kind of right after Gatchaman. And then I've done a couple other things, but but not too many. Not exactly sure why, but I just don't really seek them out, and they don't really seek me out, really. And not because of lack of want. It's just I, kind of don't know who to contact, and I'm not sure if anyone's tracking me down. So not much. I do have one coming up in Houston. I don't know the name of it, but so I think somewhere around May 28th there'll be a panel for High School of the Dead. So some of the actors will be there, myself and Steven, the director, and I'm not exactly sure who else is lined up for that. But here in Houston there will be one kind of lined up. But other than that, not many have contacted me, so don't know what's going on.
Yeah, we've come to realize that when it comes to getting yourself to conventions from a guest standpoint, you really have to get out there and market yourself.
See, that's the thing.
Or have thousands of adoring fans that beg and plead for you to come.
I guess that's what does it. So, all right, fans out there, make it happen.
Definitely.
I don't contact.
But hopefully a few of us will be able to get out there to see you in Houston in May. So that'll be definitely really cool.
Yeah, that whole convention thing, it's such a weird thing. Like I said, the convention I did for Gatchaman a few years ago, I was actually setting up lights because I'm also an electrician for theater as well as actor and fight director and all these other things. But I was setting up lights for their concert room. DJ was spinning and maybe a band was playing. And I didn't realize even that the convention was starting yet. And I was in the elevator with some of my supplies, lights and random things. And some dude was like, "Hey, I know who you are." And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm the lighting guy." They're like, "No, you play Ken from Gatchaman." I'm like, "Yeah, I do. What's up?" And they're like, "The convention is here." I'm like, "Oh, that's cool." And I didn't even realize it. It was really, really funny. So yeah, it's a different world, man. It's a different world when people come up or, message you or Facebook you or whatever. They're like, hey, I love your stuff. And it's really cool to be able to, share that with so many people.
Definitely. And for all the fans out there on the internet who are looking to stalk you in a nice way, do you have any social media sites to connect to them?
I do. I have the Facebook. And that's pretty much it. I don't Twitter. I think that's a lot of work, a lot of work for a little bit of type. So I'm on the Facebook. You can totally find me there. I don't have a website. It's currently in construction, so I can throw stuff out there that'll interact with my acting resume and motion capture stuff, future and past, and just random other things, fight direction stuff like that. So right now, Facebook is the most available.
Right, and luckily you're not exactly the most generic name, so you're pretty easy to find.
Exactly. As long as you spell it right, you'll get a pretty good idea. I think I might be the only one out there, Leraldo. So you can track me down.
It's not as easy for me because my name's Chris Smith, and I actually got contacted from a convention in Texas, Anime Matsuri, and they were looking for the voice actor Chris Smith, and they thought I was him.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's crazy. Smith,
Yeah, pretty common.
Yeah.
But as we are nearing the end of our time together, it's sad but true, we do have one final thing to ask you.
Sure.
We ask everyone who comes on the show if they would be willing to participate in a 91.8 The Fan tradition.
Sure.
Awesome. We just ask everybody to say, my name is, you insert your name, I do this, you can do a specific character, voice actor, whatever, and you're tuned into 91.8 The Fan.
Sure. So say it again then.
It's, my name is, you
my
insert
name
your
is.
name,
Mm-hmm.
I do this,
Right on.
and you're tuned into 91.8 The Fan.
Solid. You ready for it?
Yep, whenever you're ready.
Right on. My name is Leraldo Anzaldua. I played Takashi in High School of the Dead, and you are turned into Radio 91.8 The Fan.
Awesome. You got it in the first try.
Fantastic.
All right. But for everybody else out there, if you missed any part of this interview, shame on you, but it will be up on our website in the next few days. So make sure that you keep it tuned to your favorite station, 91.8 The Fan. Everything you want, nothing you don't. Coming up next, we have On Off with their song Butterfly.